We're back. We are back today, picking up from where we left off yesterday, building this recipe generation app using Next.js, React, lots of fun stuff. ChatGPT, APIs, all the good things. So, what we're going to do today that is the question. I think so we got to a point yesterday where when we hit this, we create a record in the database. One of these, and we get the ID back. So that means that when we then navigate to this page, we can send that request back, or the idea was that we would send this back to the back end, which would generate a recipe, etc., from ChatGPT. But I think what we need to do first is, if we're going to have this page be in the context of like a generative prompt type, and then we use this to iterate over the recipe. We want to stay on this page, so this URL is going to have to remain, right? And this represents all of the iterative prompts that we've tried for that initial generative prompt. I think is the way to go. So that means that at the moment, these two are like flat. They're not related in any way. But I think what we need to do is create a hierarchy with these two. So I think that's the first thing on our list. So we want to update the generation request models to be hierarchical. So I think we make this one a parent, and this one the child. So I think what we do is maybe create another column in this model, which would be like generative request ID, which would be this for the original ID. If it's null and it's a generative request, it's like the parent. If this is a iterative request, it must have a generation request ID, which would be like the ultimate parent. And then we would know the order that they came in by the created at. I don't know if that's the best way of ordering them, but maybe that's the way we do it. If we're doing a request to this table to get, let's say, we have like the top level ID, the parent ID, the generative request ID, and then we want to get all of the iterative ones from that are children. That would be a simple query because they would all have the same ID. We wouldn't have to like go, what's the child ID? And then find a row where the parent ID is that child ID, etc. And then we would just have to order them by created at. I think maybe that's the way. I think that seems simple to me. Maybe that's the way to go. So I think maybe we do that first. The other thing I want to do is I want to pass, rather than like when we're on this page, rather than hitting this button, sending a request to create the prompt, navigating to this page with just the ID, we currently get the ID from the URL, I think. API, sorry, no, not API, recipe generate page. Is it this? This is old stuff. Create recipe. It's not that. It's definitely not that. Oh, I know what it is. I'm being stupid. It's here, isn't it? It's slash generate, not slash recipe. It's this page. So we get this ID from the params, but that means that to get any information about this, we have to do another request on this page, the database. Which I kind of don't want to do. So I think what we need to do is update generation request API handler to return whole objects. So at the moment, just returning the ID for this. And then I also want to implement a state store so we can actually just pass that whole object between these components. So between it's going to be this component here is where we're creating the prompt. And this is a client component. I want to somehow pass this to this component, I think, right? Let's see, because we're going to pass it to this component here, and then maybe it would just be better just to do another fetch. How would we know if it's already, if we're going to this URL and it does an automatic fetch of this model? How do we know if this has already been run or not? I guess we could add a column of like the status of this. I think that's a good idea, actually. Maybe let's do that. So maybe let's not do a state store. You could always come back and change the way that the data is passed. So we want the models to be hierarchical. In fact, let's change this then. So we want add nullable parent request ID, right? And then we want add status column. What are we going to go for? Requested generating generation requested generation progress generation complete. Or we probably want generation failed, right? Something happens, we set it to a failure state. So that when we land on this page, we fetch this prompt. If it's in this state, we don't do anything. If it's in this state, we show the loading, I suppose. If it's in this one, we allow like the retry, and if it's this one, we so if it's in this state, if it's in this state, yeah, it's generation requested. Do we need like maybe we need some webhooks? Because let's say we've sent the request to ChatGPT and it's taking like a bit, because it does take a while to generate. It does take a bit of time to generate. If we refresh or something, how do we know? Do we get these? No, this I don't think this looks like what we want. Maybe this is something we do later, because this is only be a problem if someone refreshes, right? And the problem is if if this is the default and it's off generating, if it's in this state and it's generating and someone refreshes, it will still be in this state. So if we then send another request and we find it in this state, what do? We set it back to be, you just try again, I guess. Maybe let's try it and see what happens, right? Maybe let's try this and just see what happens. Okay. Let's give it a go. Why not? So I think this is what we're going to do today. And then if we get through all this, then we'll start to build up this UI as well. We've already got this component, but we can start to build this page. Should be fun. So I think let's do this first. So we need to update this model. Okay, cool. So let's quickly do this first. Cool. So we need to add a request type, blah, blah, blah. So let's add a parent request ID. And this is going to be string, which is nullable. Should we reference this explicitly? No. Let's not worry about that for now. So that's nullable. References the top level generative request ID. Okay. So when we then submit one of these prompts, it will add a row into this table with this ID in here. So we can just query this and we'll find all of the prompts that are part of that. And we know what order they go in because of they created that. I guess the thing we need, yeah, it will be, yeah. So then when we fetch them, it will be ordered by that, but we'll only look for the ones that are generation complete, I think. So yeah, right. So let's add the status column. Let's grab you guys. Go down to our enums, enum, and then so it's going to be generation request status. Let's quickly get rid of these commas. Oh, we could have replaced them with new lines. That would have been nice, wouldn't it? So we've got that now, and let's chuck that in here. Status is going to be this one. Cool. Let's use our little format function that we found yesterday. Format. Nice. Okay, and then should we validate? It's valid. Push. Oh. DB push. Oh, I guess we. Oh yeah, okay, that's fair. We updated passwords yesterday. Do we need to add a default value for this? Maybe we should. Because it's never not going to be this state, right? Does it like that? Is that fair? Valid? Are we valid? We are. If I add something here that's not correct. Okay, cool. It does kind of. Yeah, it does. It does know. Let's generate. It's somehow maybe like cache the old password or something. Is it gonna let me db push now? No. Okay, let me just quickly check the environment variables. Prisma. Yeah, weird that it doesn't work actually, because the environment variable on this side looks correct. Postgres Prisma URL, right? Which is, as far as I can tell, using the correct password. I'm going to double check on this side. Just be careful with my super secret passwords. Okay. Settings. Yeah, I mean, it looks correct. Maybe I'll just like copy and paste all of the Postgres stuff. Prisma URL, blah, blah, blah. One, two, three, four, five, six, 4, 5, 6, 7. User host password database. User host password database. And then we have Prisma URL non-pooling. Am I just being stupid? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm being stupid. Let's copy and paste these in. Okay. That should do the trick. Let's just restart. You never know. And then I think we should be good to go. Maybe this terminal needs to be refreshed. DB whoop, DB push. Cool. I think I just needed a refresh maybe. So if we have passwords, let me edit my DB connection quickly. Oh, come on. Edit. Okay, we're back in business. So if we now have a look at our generation request, we have our request type that we created yesterday, parent request ID, and status generation requested. Cool. That's good. That is good. Right, progress. Tick that one off. I don't think we need to do this one now if we're not going to bother sharing the state on the client side. I don't think we need that. So let's not worry about that. So now when we hit this page, right, we can do a request. In fact, let's get back to yesterday's format here. That was kind of nice, wasn't it? When we get to, let's get rid of all these. This page, we get this prompt ID from the URL param. So what we can do, because this is a server component, we can just query that from the database. Like so. So we can do, we need to make this async, so we're going to await the DB call, const. Should we create a little hook? Why not? Let's create a little hook. Hooks. New file. Use prompts. It's not prompts. We might want to manage prompts programmatically later. Nice. So we've got a few hooks ready from some old stuff that I was working on. So use generation request. Requests. Use generation requests. Sweet. We don't want this. We want So we're going to grab the top level generation request. So we're going to go Prisma dot generation request. Find many. No, we're going to go find first. And then in our objects, we're going to say where ID where ID is generation request ID. All right. I think that's it. I think that's all at the moment. Should we combine that with the iterative requests? Maybe for now we don't need to. Maybe for now we don't need to. Sweet. So here then we can do const request equals use generation requests, generation prompts. Don't know why you don't like that. What? Oh, I know why. Cool. So if we then just have a look at this, we should have the whole object. Oh, it's a promise. We need to await it, as we said before. We should then get the text that was used for that prompt. There you go. So you've got this whole object back now. So what is next then? For this, we have this modal already created that's going to house the recipe. So we could chuck that in. We have this component already. Might need some modifications to sit here, but we have it. Maybe let's build this structure and then think about the interaction of it. So when this loads, do we need So we can have this ready because we have the prompt. Also, we can get the user. Oh, that's a good point. Let's grab the user as well, right? Because I think it would be nice if this isn't necessarily like you could get someone else's initial generation prompt and then iterate on their recipe. That could be cool. So maybe in our hook we get the maybe we do include, and what is it on in the schema? Include author. True. So this now should be, yeah, sweet. So we have the author as well. And that's not nullable, is it? No. So that should be there. Sick. Okay, cool. So we have this, and then we also have the user here. So maybe now we just keep it really simple, and when we land on this page, we grab this generation prompt, and then there's a little button here that's like generate or generate recipe, and then when you hit that, it disappears, and we get this. Okay, let's do that. So it will kind of be like, it will kind of be like, let's make an alternative. Man, I really need to get my trackpad because doing this with a mouse, whew, not fun. Oh, it pasted it there? Wow. So we don't have this yet, and we can build like a nice loading type of that. With some nice like UI skeletons. That would be cool. That would be cool, no? So let's grab a bouton. This is painful doing it with a mouse. My God. Cool. So it's going to be something like this, and then we're going to say like generate recipes. I mean, it looks, you know, yeah, something like that. I mean, it's not great though. You like for the user experience, is it really? Like when you hit this, I guess you kind of expect this generation to start straight away. I guess the other thing that might be nice is when you come to this page, we could have a few more like advanced options. You know, you could like specify like the time you might want the recipe to be restricted to, or you might want to do things like, I don't know, choose the cuisine or how many portions you want it to be for before you actually send them a request. Like if, yeah, let's go with this for now. So let's build this. Let's do it. Cool. All right. So for the main page, then let's make you a container margin X auto. So we probably want this is a component, right? We want this as a component, and I think let's make a whole component for this because that will probably contain the interaction between them all, I think. So let's make a yeah, this component. This component. Is it this one? Yeah. Where else are we using this? What did I make this for? What is this for? Generate page. I think this is old stuff, right? Do we need this? No, we don't need this. I don't think we need this. Let's delete this. Yes. Because we're now doing it under the prompt model. Okay. Let's do recipe chat. Cool. Don't need that container. You don't need this, I don't think, really. So what we probably want to pass in is the we don't want that because we're actually going to get it from the prompt. Or from the request. So let's say we want but that's going to be potentially null. So what should we do in that case? Let's do this. Nope, not recipe. Request. Sick. Okay, so let's now create these components, shall we? So let's create like this. Let's create this component. So let's call it recipe chat header, right? There's definitely a way to, like, what plugin should I be using to create these automatically? I feel like a bit of a mug doing this. We could get ChatGPT to write this, I guess. But it's probably not, convoluted enough to bother. Maybe let's just try. That's not what I wanted to do. Actually, I had a prompt for this, I think. Where are my prompts? Oh. My subscription's ended? Okay, well, let's not do that then. We'll remove I'll fix that later. I don't know why that stopped. All right, nice. So let's just build it ourselves. Old school, man. You know? Old school. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Probably gonna have a little flex container here, right? This is gonna be the wrapper. Flex. And then in here we're gonna have the this is the prompt text, and then I think here we can whack in avatar. And what does this take? Image source name. Sweet. So what are the props that we want for this? We want prompt. We should probably stop calling it text, but prompt even, but username, user img URL. Cool. Okay, and then instead of this now, we probably want to use recipe chat header. Let's chuck in prompt text equals request text. Username. Why doesn't that scroll with me? That's annoying, isn't it? Request.author. This avatar component, what does it do if the image doesn't exist? Okay, so that's not. Doesn't seem right that name is optional. I think this one should be optional, right? No, actually, maybe that is right. Oh, name is optional because you might not want the name to appear. Yeah, that's fair. We don't. Yeah, let's just see what happens. Request and sorry, no, that's not right. It's this component. Request.author. Okay. Type. Authored. Request. We don't need to do this because the type is use recipes. Okay. That makes sense. We don't need to do that. We just do generation request and user. Like this, author. Is it maybe a union rather than intersection? Yeah, let's go for a union. Yep, correct. Absolutely correct. Okay, so you should now, TypeScript, understand that this has an .author. No, come on, come on. Because it's not a generation request, it's a authored request. All right? Please stop looping around. Why are you doing this to me? Author, .name. Image. And I'm guessing that can be null as well. Yeah, okay, that looks good. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. So this, we then need to turn into this cool, let's align items. Align center, middle, items center. That's not the one. Come on, man. Oh, it did work. It was just slow. Okay, sweet. Right, and then for this, we need to turn this into like this chat style icon. So let's go with class name, backgrounds, e.g. For now, let's try 500. Okay. And we want to add some padding. and maybe around all of it. So like padding 4. Whoa, not 4. 2. Does that look good? Okay, we need to step up the rounding, that's for sure. Let's put this here, shall we? Padding 2. Okay, let's go for. I mean, let's go XL. 2XL. 4XL. That's not a thing. 3XL. Yeah. Okay. I think we need padding. The vertical padding, I think I want a little bit less. And maybe the padding, horizontal padding, like a bit more. Tiny bit more. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then let's whack the text to be white. Maybe that's going to be too white. No, that looks all right. Maybe it's too big. I think, in fact, it's definitely too big. Let's go text small. Man, Tailwind is so nice. Not having to leave the markup. It's a bit thin now. I don't think I mind that though, actually. Does it need to be the same size as the avatar though? Cool. That looks pretty good, I think. For now, happy, I think. I think happy for now, yeah. And then let's just chuck it over the side to the right. And let's go with. So its parent is the flex container. Yo, okay, then I know what we do for this. We can go flex direction. How do you do direction? Flex end. No? Tailwind, help. We want to do flex direction. Oh, we could do flex direction, or we could do. No, okay, let's just do that. Flex direction. How do we do that? Flex row reverse, and then I think we'll need to do that. All right, now we're cooking. Now we are cooking. That's looking good. Just going to ignore that. Don't think we need to worry about that, do we? So we have that. Now, what we want to do is, are we going to do this hacky button? Could do, couldn't we? Guess we could do. Should we ramp that up a little bit? Do we need with this to also grab maybe we let this component do the fetching. So if this is going to be, let's check this out, right? I think it's recipe modal. Oh, excuse me. Oh, this is a server component. Nice. Okay, that's good. We can put some nice loading skeletons on this. So when we open this, when this component renders, let's, yeah. Okay, let's create. In fact, we probably need to do some bless you. Thank you. That's very, very nice of you. We probably need to check. Do we need to? Just adding this to my to-dos. Do we need to check generation text for SQL injection? I'm guessing Prisma does all that for us. Anyway, that was a side thought. Okay, let's make this hacky button then. I mean, I'm not psyched about it, but I would like it to be automatic, that you'd have to click this. You know what? You can't have everything in life, can you? So let's maybe just do it. You can always clean it up afterwards. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are going to extract our buttons into a component. Which we do by components. Here we go. Do we create a button component? Oh, okay. You know what? Maybe this is something for later. That's something for later. Let's just use what we already have. I think somewhere we have a nice button. We did. No, we don't. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We can. In fact, maybe we don't need to extract a component. We can just use the Daisy UI one. Where's the bouton? There we go. Yeah, I mean, we can just use this, right? I don't like that it capitalizes the text, though. I'm not a massive fan of that. We're going to roll our own. We're going to roll our own. We don't need this. We don't need you, Daisy UI. Button. Generate. Yeah, it looks sick. Maybe, actually, yeah, okay, we'll come back to this in a sec. All right, class name. If we end up creating loads of these, we'll extract each component, but actually this is the first one we've made, so let's not go overkill here. So let's go BG, given. In fact, let's start off with, yeah, let's give it a nice background. It's annoying that the Tailwind telesense doesn't activate until you space. Why is that? I think later we'll come back and fix all these colors as well. Rounded. We're going to want some padding for sure. We're definitely going to want some padding along the x-axis of like, you know, a decent amount. 6. Rounded. Large. Give me some large rounding. Too much. Back it off. Perfect. Perfect. Let's go for some white text. Text. White. But let's make it a bit smaller, shall we? Text small. Yeah. Cool. And we're going to roll some padding Y. What does that look like? No, no way. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm liking that. What should our hover state be? When we hover it, what do we want? What's like a nice button hover? See, that one goes a bit darker. Okay. I like to chuck the hover, these classes at the end. So let's go BG, orange. We went 400, so we'll go 500. What does that look like? Whoa. Yeah, I mean, let's not be over enthusiastic. Do we like it a bit lighter? Oh, no, 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 no. We definitely don't. All right. I mean, yeah, fine. That's great. That'll do on it. That'll do. I think. So now We want to chuck that over the side like this. Maybe what we did for the chat header, we told it to go over there. But actually, maybe we shouldn't do that because, whoops. We're going to want to do that here, I think. So let's create a container for these two. Class name, flex. Get some flex in there. And then we're going to do what we just did, right? Flex. Oh no, don't do that. Row reverse. And then we're going to have to swap them around. We actually don't want, no, this is wrong. We don't want that. Stop, please. Col. Thank you. Thanks. Is it that? No. How do I get you to go to the right? What? Why? Where's display block coming from? Because it's a div. Oh, it's because I've said flex col, but I've not said flex. Idiot. Okay. Now we're starting to cook on some gas. Let's give this a little bit of a margin top. Whoop. Margin top 4. Yeah. Doing this with Tailwind is so pleasing, man. There's nothing worse than having to come up with class names. Right, so we've got a boot on. So when we click this, do we want some like nice click? Yeah, I mean that's nice, isn't it? Let's one thing at a time. Come back to that. When we click this, what do we want to happen? We're going to send a request to the back end with this ID to generate. So we could put the client stuff in the button, make that a client component, or and then when the response arrives, I mean, I think all of this is going to be a client component, right? This doesn't need to be. We can pass this in if recipe chat is a client component. Okay, well let's try that, shall we? Or should we get this? Shall we get this in here? Yeah, let's do that. So let's have a look at our recipe mode or component because we're going to reuse this. So I think what we might want to do is extract this and take it out of a modal and then create this recipe modal. Could be like just a modal wrapper. That's the front end card. What we probably want is like recipe details card. So let's create recipe details card. Right? I think let's go full screen. I think what we need to do I think we will maybe want to take this div. That's part of the dialog. We don't want that. Probably want this, right? This stuff. That's what recipe details card. Export default. Recipe details card. Return this. Wrap that in a ghosty boy. Right. We probably need to throw all these over as well, right? This may. Oh, we do have a little bouton. I know, but that's like the Daisy UI. Blech. Right. Now we need to give it some props. right? And then we're going to want title. Do you know what, actually? I think we can probably copy most of this. I would say. Again, we can probably copy most of that. And let's just get rid of these things that we've commented out. Oh, we need to do some curly boys here. This probably wasn't the way to do it. We should probably have just gone the other round and deleted the modal stuff and created the wrapper component. But you know what? We are here now. We're here now. Oh no. Format amount. Great. But we don't need the modal ref, right? Because this component is not a modal. Absolute unit. Get in there. What's not happy down here? You. What's wrong with, oh, because we need to import image from next. Format recipe title. I guess this is another import. Yes. Let's go. Oh, I think we made it. And we don't need you. Sorry, mate. Right. So we've copied that over now. So this is the one that we can use. And we need to chuck. Oy, oy, oy. This is going to be a slog. Wish there was a way to like autofill this. Maybe there is. Rip. Instructions equals instructions. Username, avatar, and prompt. We're not calling it prompt anymore, are we? Come on. Avatar, URL, avatar, URL, prompt. Oh no, not that. Prompt. Stop it. Stop that. Prompt. Okay, get some format on. Cool. Tidy this up a little bit. Are we still using unit? Yeah, but we're not using these. Oh no, we are, I suppose, still using these types. We have now duplicated these types, which is not great. Maybe this is not the way to go, and we should be passing in the modal body as a prop. If we need the modal again, you know, we can extract it out. into a component, but for now, let's keep hacking. Let's check that this hasn't broken anything on the front end. No, we're looking good. We're looking good. Cool. So I think now we can probably use this in our component here, in this one here. So recipe chat, what we want is let's just go ahead and just bite the bullet. Right? Don't need that to be async, doesn't matter. Maybe we do want to include the recipe, because when we get to this component, we kind of want to know if we're loading this screen, if it's already been done, display this. If not, display this. Can we rely on the request status for that? I'm not sure we can. Maybe we can. Maybe we should plan this out a bit more. I mean, we are where we are, right? Just ducking out for 1 sec. So when we hit this button, maybe let's do it like this. Right? I guess the problem is when we click this button, the back end is going to change this to be like in progress, whatever, but this UI is not going to update, is it? Okay, do you know what? We're sacking this off. So we're just going to sack it off. We're going to put a data fetch and a use effect, because is that bad? Possibly. Do we care? Yeah. Are we going to do anything about it? No, I don't think so. Bouton. Text. Text. I am breaking this out into a component. Sue me. I said I wouldn't. I just said I wouldn't, but I'm doing it. So yeah, do what you must. What? What just happened there? Text. You know, it's there now. It's there now. Deal with it. All right. So we're gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna say I think this is potentially bad practice. I mean, who knows? And we want this to run. Quest? Maybe? Let's see what happens. So if request dot status is equal to generation request status dots requested set. This is where we want to send the generation request. And we're going to use the route that we were doing before, recipe generate. But, oh, we can probably look actually at prompt head or prompt input. Yeah, this is what we were doing. This, right? Oh, no, we're not, yeah, we updated that. So we want to do API.post, API.post recipe generate. Maybe we'll refactor this at some point. Oh yes, it's meant. This is the thing that's meant to be async. Not that. So we do this basically. Not KK. Didn't mean that. Const is low. And we can pass this loading into this the details card, and it can show some nice skeletons in its closet. All the skeletons. So I think what we're going to do now is actually send the we're going to actually send the. This is going to be Right, we're going to send that, and we're probably going to send user ID, which is going to be right. We're going to want to send the user ID. Because we're going to want to know who sent this request. Should we actually be getting the... I think maybe this isn't actually right, because you could spoof the user ID, right? This is not, I don't think this is correct. I think what we need to do is check it from the session that's created. Update this to check user ID against the session sent. To do. Otherwise, you could just send any user ID, and as long as it's valid, it would pass that check, which is not good. So let's do here user const user equals that. Is that also potentially null? Undefined. Sweet. Things are really slowing down here. I think that might mean it's time for lunch, maybe. My laptop is taking an absolute beating. Current user.id. So we need to update this, and now. Cool. All right, I think leave it there for this session. For what we've done a lot. We have done a lot. It's good though. Does my git ignore? Not ignore the env file. Weird. Add initial recipe chat UI. Nice. Cool. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's okay. So today we did this and we started to do this. So next we need to refactor / recipe generate API handler build UI loading states, so we get some nice like skeleton UI when this is loading, and hook up iterative prompt input. So I think maybe we'll do that this afternoon, maybe later today. But I think that's it for now. I think that is it. Peace out.